Imagine walking through a forest and suddenly coming face to face with a creature the size of a bus, or worse, one with jaws strong enough to crush bone in a single bite. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But Earth's past was full of real monsters. Across millions of years, countless species have risen and vanished, leaving behind clues to a wild and terrifying history. Some were so massive they'd make today's animals look like pets, while others were walking nightmares, designed by evolution to dominate. So here's a thought: what if they never went extinct? What if these beasts still roamed our planet today? Would we even stand a chance? Stick around as we dive into ancient animals that could have been a serious problem for humans if they were still around. Which one do you think would be the most terrifying to meet face to face? Drop your guess in the comments. Let's see who gets it right. Donticus. Just the name means terrible claw, and trust me, it lived up to it. Now, imagine you're out for a hike and suddenly hear a rustle in the bushes. You turn, and there it is. A feathered predator with claws like daggers and a stare that says, "Your lunch." This nightmare on two legs roamed the Earth around 115 million years ago during the early Cretaceous. It stretched over 3.5 meters long, had a skull packed with 70 razor-sharp, curved teeth, and jaws strong enough to crush bone. Its hands? Massive, with 3 hooked claws on each, basically nature's version of built-in weapons. But the real killer move? A sickle-shaped claw on each foot, designed for slashing prey wide open. Scientists think it pounced like a bird of prey, using that claw to pin down and tear apart its victims. Oh, and yes, it most likely had feathers, which somehow makes it even more terrifying. Imagine a giant, angry murder chicken with the agility of a gymnast. And get this, fossils show that multiple Donticus skeletons were found near a plant-eating dinosaur called Titanoboa. Coincidence? Not likely. It's pretty clear these guys hunted in packs. That's right, coordinated predators. Think Jurassic Park raptors, but with science backing it up. Now here's the kicker. Juvenile Donticus might have been able to fly. Let that sink in. A sky full of mini predators raining death from above. Suddenly, going outside feels unsafe. Its bite force? Between 4,000 and 8,000 newtons. That's stronger than a hyena and almost on par with an alligator. Fast, smart, powerful, Donticus wasn't just dangerous. It was built for the hunt. And if it had survived to modern times? Let's just say we'd be walking around in armored suits or never leaving the house. So, what do you think? Could humanity have survived sharing the planet with this prehistoric predator? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you're brave enough, keep watching. The next creature is even scarier. Megalodon. Now buckle up, because this next beast didn't just rule the ocean, it owned it. Forget everything you know about sharks. Megalodon wasn't just bigger than a great white, it was an underwater apocalypse with fins. This prehistoric giant lived about 23 million years ago, and if it were still around today, let's just say no one would be booking beach holidays. Surfing? Cancelled. Deep sea diving? Only if you had a death wish. Estimates suggest Megalodon could grow up to 20 meters long. That's basically a swimming school bus with teeth the size of your hand. To compare, the great white shark, terrifying in its own right, maxes out at just 6 meters. Megalodon would have looked at a great white like we look at a goldfish. But the real jaw-dropper? Its actual jaw. It could open 2 meters wide. That's wide enough to swallow you, your friends, and probably the boat you came in on. It had over 250 serrated teeth, each up to 7 inches long, arranged in 5 bone-slicing rows. These weren't just for show, they were designed to rip through whales like butter. And those teeth? They're still washing up around the world, from the coasts of Europe and Africa to the Americas and Australia. No ocean was safe. Megalodon had global reach, cruising the seas from warm tropical lagoons to cooler temperate waters. Whether it was shallow coastlines or deep offshore hunting grounds, this shark adapted, survived, and dominated. Its bite force? Estimated at over 18 tons. That's more crushing power than a T-Rex. Think about that. One bite and it could snap a whale's spine like a breadstick. But even apex predators aren't invincible. As Earth's climate cooled, ocean currents changed, food chains shifted, and Megalodon's reign slowly unraveled. Maybe it couldn't keep up with a colder world or lost the massive prey it depended on. Still, fossils of its teeth are out there, sharp, deadly, and just waiting to be found. So here's a fun question. If you found one on the beach, would you keep it as a souvenir, or run, just in case its owner came looking? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and stick around, because number 6 is just as jaw-dropping, literally. Imagine standing face-to-face with a 10-meter-long snake so powerful it could crush anything in its path. Meet Titanoboa, the largest snake to ever slither across the earth, a true prehistoric titan that reigned supreme over the jungles of the Paleocene period, around 60 million years ago. This monster wasn't just big, it was gigantic, with estimates suggesting it could grow up to 10 meters, 33 feet, long and weigh an eye-popping 2,500 pounds, around 1,134 kilograms. To put it in perspective, Titanoboa was longer than a school bus and could easily coil around a mammoth. It would have made today's anacondas look like small garden snakes in comparison. The sight of this colossal serpent moving through dense, humid jungles of ancient Colombia, modern-day La Guajira region, would send chills down anyone's spine. With sleek, dark-colored scales and a graceful yet deadly movement, Titanoboa didn't just slither, it ruled. This apex predator dominated its environment, striking terror into anything that crossed its path. Titanoboa thrived in warm, lush tropical jungles filled with abundant prey. Fish, turtles, and other reptiles populated the rich waterways, making it the perfect habitat for this immense snake to thrive. Titanoboa was the undisputed ruler of its domain, capable of navigating both land and water with frightening ease. What made Titanoboa so unique and so terrifying was not just its size, but its diet and feeding habits. It was a fish-eater primarily, with specialized teeth and a head adapted to catch and swallow large aquatic creatures. With rivers and marshes teeming with life, Titanoboa had an endless food supply. As a result, it could grow larger and larger, maintaining its position as the largest snake predator of all time. And if it had survived into modern times, Titanoboa would have been an unstoppable force. Imagine it slithering silently through dense forests, its sheer size and power rendering humans powerless. No one would be safe in a world where Titanoboa could strike with terrifying precision, dragging even large prey into its crushing grip. Thankfully, we no longer need to worry about Titanoboa's presence today. This ancient serpent has been lost to time, wiped out by the evolution of the planet and the changing ecosystems. But just thinking about it, a snake the size of a school bus, reigning supreme over lush jungles, sends a shiver down the spine, reminding us just how terrifying the past truly was. We can take comfort in the fact that Titanoboa's reign has long since ended, and we're left to marvel at this ancient giant from the safety of history's pages. Haast's eagle. Now, imagine a bird so massive, so powerful, it could swoop down and kill something the size of a small horse. Sounds like a fantasy creature, right? Nope, this was very real, and it ruled the skies over New Zealand not too long ago. Haast's eagle wasn't just big, it was huge. The females, even more fearsome than the males, could weigh over 16 kilograms. That's heavier than some bowling balls. And though their wingspan topped out around 2.6 to maybe over 3 meters, it wasn't about flying far and high. It was about deadly precision through dense forests. These birds didn't need open skies, they needed cover to strike. Their short, wide wings and long tails made them masters of stealth, slicing through thick bushland like feathered ninjas. And their talons? As big as a tiger's claws. One powerful grip could crush a skull. No joke. These birds could literally take down the moa, a flightless bird that weighed over 200 kilograms. Let that sink in, a bird, killing something 10 times its size. They didn't scavenge like vultures. They hunted, ambushed, ripped into flesh with hooked beaks, going straight for vital organs. Some scientists even think they started feeding while their prey was still alive. Brutal? Absolutely. Effective? And here's a wild thought. If Haast's eagle hadn't gone extinct, would tourists still be hiking New Zealand's trails? Or would we need armored umbrellas just to survive a walk in the woods? Ancient cave art even shows these eagles with pale heads, kind of like vultures? Possibly an adaptation to keep clean while digging into, well, dinner. But despite their dominance, Haast's eagles couldn't survive the loss of their main food source, the moa. When humans arrived and hunted moa into extinction, the eagle's fate was sealed too. Still, picture it, you're on a scenic trek in the South Island, camera in hand, and you hear a whoosh above. Would you duck? Or run? What would you do if these apex predators still soared the skies today? Tell me in the comments, and don't look up. Just in case. 11111111111. Sarcosuchus. Now picture this. You're chilling by a riverbank, enjoying the Cretaceous sunshine, when suddenly, the water explodes, and a living tank launches out with jaws wide enough to swallow you whole. That's Sarcosuchus. Or, as its name fittingly means, flesh crocodile. This wasn't just a crocodile. This was a crocodile on prehistoric steroids. At up to 10 meters long and weighing around 8 tons, Sarcosuchus made today's crocs look like baby lizards. It's the kind of creature that could turn a watering hole into a war zone. Its skull alone stretched up to 6 feet, longer than most people. And scientists, using that skull-to-body ratio trick, figured out it could grow as long as a city bus. Imagine pulling up to the river, and that is what's sunbathing on the shore. But here's the terrifying twist. Unlike modern crocs with thin, pointed snouts built for catching fish, Sarcosuchus had a broad, thick snout and non-interlocking teeth. Translation? It wasn't picky. It didn't just hunt in the water. It likely went after anything that moved, including dinosaurs. Yup, this beast could take down land animals, possibly even juvenile dinosaurs that wandered too close to the edge. It didn't just ambush, it dominated. And if you're thinking, well, we've seen big crocodiles today, think again. Sarcosuchus was bigger and badder than Purosaurus, Deinosuchus, and every other ancient croc that ever snapped its jaws. It wasn't the king of the river. It was the river. Its reign ended millions of years ago, but just imagine if it hadn't. Beach vacations? Cancelled. River safaris? Nope. Even walking near a puddle would feel like a death wish. So here's the question. What's scarier, a dinosaur charging at you, or a super croc lurking just beneath the water, waiting to strike? Let me know in the comments. And if you think that was terrifying, wait until you meet the creature at Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus was one of the most formidable and terrifying creatures to ever walk the earth, earning its place as the largest known carnivorous dinosaur. Living in North Africa during the late Cretaceous period nearly 99 million years ago, Spinosaurus was a true apex predator, and if it had survived into the age of humanity, it would have posed an unimaginable threat. This monstrous dinosaur grew to a length of up to 15 meters, nearly 50 feet, long, a terrifying size that dwarfed most other predators of its time. Recent research suggests that it could have weighed around 8 metric tons, which is more than the weight of an adult elephant. With such size, Spinosaurus would have been a force of nature, its massive form casting an intimidating shadow wherever it went. The Spinosaurus wasn't just large, it was uniquely built for its predatory lifestyle. It had a small snout and conical teeth with no serrations, ideal for catching fish. These teeth were arranged in a strange way, creating a gap that allowed for a terrifying bite. The snout, extended in shape with a crest in front of its eyes, gave it an even more menacing look. Estimates of its skull length range from 1.6 to 1.7 meters, adding to its imposing presence. What truly sets Spinosaurus apart, however, is its extraordinary physical features. It had a long, powerful neck that curved into a graceful S shape, perfect for catching prey in water. Its broad shoulders, huge powerful forelimbs, and 3 clawed fingers made it a formidable opponent in battle, allowing it to fight off other predators and secure its place at the top of the food chain. The back of the Spinosaurus was lined with long neural spines, which formed a large sail-like structure. These spines were 10 times thicker than the vertebrae from which they extended, and scientists have debated their purpose. Some believe they were used for thermoregulation, helping to cool or warm the animal in its environment, while others think the sail was for exhibition purposes, making it appear even larger and more fearsome to rivals and prey alike. But what about the Spinosaurus's diet? With its conical teeth and elevated nostrils, It's clear that Spinosaurus was adapted for fishing. Fossil evidence supports this theory, showing fish scales inside the rib cages of related species. But Spinosaurus wasn't just a fish eater, it was a flexible predator, capable of opportunistic hunting. It likely also hunted pterosaurs, evidenced by a tooth found embedded in a pterosaur's bone. Spinosaurus was bigger, more terrifying, and more versatile than its better-known cousin, the T-Rex. While the T-Rex may have been one of the largest land predators, it paled in comparison to the Spinosaurus, which had an intimidating size and a unique set of skills that allowed it to dominate both land and water. Its reign as the biggest carnivorous dinosaur makes it a true icon of prehistoric terror. If Spinosaurus had survived, humanity would have faced a predator unlike any other, capable of striking fear into even the bravest of humans. Thankfully, this beast has long been gone, but we can still marvel at its ancient legacy as one of the most formidable creatures to ever walk or swim the earth.